Marcus Rashford is the best footballer in the world.
He's on fire for 2 months and he's not the
He's
best
the best footballer in the world at the moment.
Not.
But MVP, you know what that means? Do you know what the initial stand
Valuable
for?
player, how dare you? If we're basing it on this season, how is the guy that's got 27 goals in the Premier League both fourth in your list?
Tottenham would be nowhere near the top four, let alone in the top four
100%.
somehow if it wasn't for Harry Kane. He's got no help.
What's happening, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of The Playlist. Joining me now is the wonderful Abby Summers and the fairly average Ade Oladipo. The first thing that we are going to get our teeth into today is the Premier League current MVP. There are some players that are doing sensationally well. The players that I would love for you to rank for me are Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Mohamed Salah, Erling Haaland, and Harry Kane. Can you please spin your boards in 3, 2, 1?
Oh, this is a joke.
We've got three different.
Are you out?
Three different number ones.
I've lost the plot.
To be fair, you and I.
You've got Saka bottom.
I don't know what we're doing.
Saka bottom.
Sorry, he's got Mo Salah bottom. The proven, genuine,
We're going on-
genuine, world-class, genuine. Champions League,
We're going on this
Premier
season,
League.
right?
MVP.
Sorry, what are you guys doing?
MVP this year.
I can't believe what we're doing. No. The question was, who would you have in your team?
Right now.
Mo Salah.
Marcus Rashford is the best footballer in the world.
He's on fire for 2 months and he's not the
He's
best
the best footballer in the
Calm
world
down,
at the moment.
He's not.
I wouldn't say
He's
in
not.
the
So he's nowhere
world.
near
I
the
mean-
best footballer in the world. Stop.
He is.
Stop.
Mate, he's having a season
footballer
comparable
in the top six of the
when you
Premier
think-
League.
You know when you think of like iconic Premier League seasons over the years, you go that season that Salah had, you go that season that maybe Van Persie had, that season that Suarez had. He's having that season. Rashford is having that season right now. You are witnessing history. The fact that you haven't got him number one is a travesty.
You might as well just say Ivan Toney's having that season then.
But he's not.
He's got pretty much
If
the
he
same
was-
goals as Ivan Toney. Everyone's going crazy about it.
Marcus Rashford.
He's got.
He's
I think
carrying
he's got
Manchester
2
United
goals
on his
more
back.
than Ivan Toney, who plays for Brentford.
He's carrying Manchester United on his back the entire
Well, no,
club.
I'd say Casemiro's doing that a bit, actually.
You'd be wrong.
I'd say Casemiro's
You'd be
doing
wrong.
that.
Hey,
You-
I
you're
think it's
smiling,
like,
you
you're
know
wrong.
I'm right.
He knows he's wrong.
He knows.
Kane, tell me, Abby, tell me.
I mean, it's undisputable. He's best in Europe.
What is up with this show?
Harry
We're
Kane is-
losing plaudits.
Harry Kane is the best striker in Europe. He's
my
having
God.
an unbelievable
Well,
season as well. Just because Haaland
the best
is
striker in Europe is called Victor Osimhen for Napoli.
Okay.
That's the best striker in Europe.
Doing it in an
Okay.
easier league, isn't he?
Oh, here we go.
Harry Kane, without a doubt.
Well, it's
Always
Haaland
top.
then. If we're
Always
going to
top.
do it that way, then Haaland's got double the
Where have
goals.
you got Haaland?
I've
3.
got him as third.
I've got him as fourth.
Mate, your bottom two are
I feel
Saka.
sorry. Look, Saka's my boy. I love him. Nigeria till we die.
You
But
don't
the
love
fact
him.
is,
You don't love him. You
I
put
do
him
love-
I
bottom.
do love Saka.
Mate,
but
how
the
do you
fact
treat
is-
people that you don't like then?
The fact is, we know this guy. I'll circle him again. Mo Salah, Champions League, Premier League. We know he
But
comes
not
good
this
all
season.
the
Do
time.
you know what you need to
Season.
not do? Because I know what you're up to. You know when you start annotating, you feel like it sort of makes your point more emphatic? It doesn't help. Like circling and drawing arrows and stuff. It doesn't help.
Salah, look, Rashford's on a nice vein of form. After the World Cup, he's fantastic. After the World Cup,
Salah
he's
bottom.
fantastic. How
Abby.
can Salah be bottom?
Right. Abby needs
Play a
to
game
tell
with
you.
me.
Because you think that
play
I'm
a
doing
game
this
with me,
shit.
Mr. Jennings.
Abby needs to tell
play
you.
a game with me. World class. And don't let's not. And I want your definition of world class. Who is world class on here?
Kane.
Be honest. Be honest.
In terms of longevity of world class, I'd say that it's
not a
Mo
flash in the
Salah
pan.
and Harry Kane.
There you go.
But we're
Mo
talking
Salah.
about- we're talking about
But
this
MVP,
season.
you know what that means? Do you know what the initial stand
Valuable
for?
player. How dare you?
You had a pause there.
Most
Right?
valuable
He
player.
checks it in his head.
You know why? Yeah, because Jake Paul has an MVP promotion. That was in my head. That's why.
Abby, can you, because I feel like if I do it regarding Mo Salah, Addy will think that I'm sort of half trolling him. But I think he will listen to you because you will just deliver it in a more concise
All
way
right, let's
than
try
I
and find some reasoning for you. No one is saying that Mo Salah isn't an MVP. No one is saying that. But we are basing it off of this season. It was only the last game against Newcastle that he kind of looked like he'd recovered
one
some
second.
type of older Salah
Second,
form.
pause both of you.
No.
Pause both of you. If we're basing it on this season, how is the guy that's got 27 goals in the Premier League both fourth in your list? If we're going on that logic, this season, how is the guy that has got 27... I'm circling your board. How is the guy that has got 27 Premier League goals fourth.
Because although he's had a very good season,
Yeah.
he hasn't contributed to his team having a very good
That's
season.
very interesting because I thought Man City were above United.
But they look a worse force. They look a worse
Sorry,
force.
and you've got Harry Kane above him. Harry Kane isn't Man City above Harry Kane?
Yeah, but
Because
Tottenham
Erling Haaland
wouldn't be sitting fourth currently if it wasn't for Harry Kane.
Most valuable player, yeah, and we do this as well, by the way. Again, you know what the term means because they do it in the NBA. It isn't always the person that wins the league. It's the person that contributes the most. Haaland has got 20. You said Kane. You said the nonsense about Kane being the best striker in Europe. How can you say that when Haaland's here?
Harry Kane.
You say
Harry
this.
Kane's performances are why Tottenham are probably going to make it into the European Cup. Erling Haaland's performances are not the reason that Manchester City. In fact, you can make a case that Erling Haaland has made Man City a worse side.
No.
I think they're a better team with Julian Alvarez in the team. I genuinely do. I thought they were a better team.
That's your fault. That's your fault for thinking that. It's nonsense.
It's
absolute nonsense.
So
the Alvarez they're better than
the performances of Kevin De Bruyne, the performances of Bernardo
Did you
Silva,
not
the
see what he
performances
did?
of the team.
The biggest game this season was Arsenal versus Man City at the Emirates, and he tore them to shreds. Haaland, the biggest game this season. He's like, you know what? Let me show you guys what I can do.
You're calling it the biggest game of the season.
You called it the biggest game this season.
There was a massive game.
You called it the biggest game this season. I didn't. You did.
I was making a different point there. There was a massive game at Old Trafford fairly recently where Erling Haaland was up against Luke Shaw, didn't touch the ball. Luke Shaw was centre half.
What was the biggest game this season?
Manchester Derby at the moment.
How dare you? How dare you?
And one more to add to that.
We're going to have a problem with this.
Haaland against the defence of Eric Dyer and Romero and Longley failed to do anything.
Quality players. Quality
And
defenders.
also, if you're backing Haaland that much, why is he not top?
Because I am support Liverpool and Salah's.
Oh, so it was completely
support Liverpool, and I know
biased.
Salah
Okay.
on it there. I know
Look,
Salah's the genuine world-class player on this
but
list.
Marcus Rashford at the moment, if you were to say what players' performances this season would I want at Chelsea? If I could take any player off this list, I'd looking at Marcus Rashford this season, and I'm just totally utterly blown away. Remember, he's brilliant in the World Cup as well.
I think we've gone a bit. Like, I like Marcus Rashford. I think he's having an absolutely fantastic season. But to have him above two guys in Kane, who, by the way, hasn't got nothing from Son this season, nothing from Kulusevski, or nothing from Richarlison. Kane's got more goals than Rashford. I'm confused by this logic.
Well, Kane's
got
top.
more goals from Rashford. No, but everyone else is going crazy about Rashford. Kane's got more goals from Rashford, plays in a worse team, and yet everyone has Rashford above Kane. I'm like, have I missed something? Kane can drop into a 10, into an 8, can do everything, but all of a sudden everyone's going Rashford crazy.
Well, that's why Kane is my number one, because of all those factors you've just listed.
Look, I've got
Tottenham
I've
would be
got Kane
nowhere
second,
near.
and I'll push Kane number one.
Thank you. Tottenham would be nowhere
I'll
near
do
the
it.
top
I'll do
four,
it.
let alone in the top four
100%.
somehow, if it wasn't for Harry
do it.
Kane. He's got no help whatsoever.
What Marcus
this
Rashford
season.
has done, though, I think Tottenham qualified for the European Cup last year.
Yeah.
Harry Kane is an obvious world-class player, and there is a consistency to him that deserves acknowledgement.
Yeah.
What Marcus Rashford has done in a team that are very different. They went from probably their worst ever Premier League manager in Ralf Rangnick.
Yep.
They brought in Ten Hag, and they needed somebody to
Step up.
elevate. They needed somebody to raise the tide of that club. They then lost Cristiano Ronaldo. So those 18 Premier League goals, 24 goals in all competitions, disappeared. And we all went, they're never going to replace him. They're never going to find those goals. They're not going to qualify for Europe. They could win the league because of his contribution, because of the way that he has stepped up when it most matters. They are in 4 competitions, largely because of his performances. They are definitely going to win silverware this year, which is an unbelievable thing to say. His performances, his elevation, not only of himself, but of an institution like Manchester United, makes him this year's MVP.
And he has the assistance of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro
And
Eriksen and don't forget Wout Weghorst. But Kane, all of a sudden, has said, come on, Son, come on, Kulusevski, come on, Rashford. How many goals have them lot got to get? Have they got more than 10 goals?
I think Son is
Son's
potentially
got
on
5. Richarlison has none.
Richarlison has none. I think Kulusevski's got maybe 2 or 3. He's been
So
injured.
Kane's literally said, I am doing this all by myself.
Kane is
and I've
doing
done
it all on his own.
Yeah.
And I think that you cannot dispute that. I'm not saying that the stuff you mentioned about Rashford is absolutely spot on, but Harry Kane has been doing this year in, year out.
There is a legacy.
That's what it is as
It
well.
is consistency. It's year in,
There is
year out.
there is a legacy vote for Kane, definitely, but there is also a legacy vote for Salah. If you've got to be careful here, because if we start doing the legacy, then
But Kane is doing it this season.
I'm talking this season.
This season.
Like, Kane's got more goals in the league than Rashford this
Mohamed
season.
Salah scored a surprising amount of goals this year. You know that.
Yeah,
it feels like it's been
in the league. I think he's only got 8 or 9.
Yeah, but
in the
I think
league.
it's not
Whereas
far off
Kane's
20.
now-
It's not far off 20, Addy, in all competitions,
I
Salah.
think 17.
I think
Yeah.
it's 17.
Far
and
off 20 in all
Haaland-
competitions, Salah.
Well, and you've got him.
No,
bottom.
no, I think he's bottom. But I think that what you're doing here is dangerous, because if you start bringing legacy into it, then it all sort of shifts.
No. I'm not bringing legacy into it. I'm saying Harry Kane's got more goals this season for Marcus Rashford and plays in a worse team.
So I'm not having Marcus Rashford low in a second. You're going to have to work it out
Well,
between
we've
you.
both
well,
got Kane.
I'll put Kane top. I'll put Kane top.
Okay.
But
I'm
I
happy
will
to have
not have
Rashford-
Rashford below second.
No,
Like,
I'm
that's
happy to have
ridiculous.
Rashford
I
second.
refuse to do it. I just point blank refuse.
You're gonna have to move.
You're going to have to move me.
No, you know.
Abby
also-
just told you you're going to have to move.
I'm still shocked about the Haaland.
No,
thing.
and also for the
I'm
fact
shocked that
you-
we have got the top goal scorer in the
Bruv,
Premier League.
you've got Bukayo Saka. You've got Saka fifth. You're having a nightmare in this.
Do you really think this pen is going to write Salah as number 5?
You're having an absolute
Do you really
nightmare.
think that's going to happen?
No, but
do you
mate,
really think that Adi Oladipo is going to use this pen and write Mo Salah?
Arsenal are
You need to
Arsenal
give
are
some
potentially going to win the league,
I
and
would
it's
rather
basically
leave the
because of
set. I would rather leave the set. than put Mo Salah
I need
at
some.
number
I
5.
need
I'm
some
not doing
reasoning
it.
and rationale as to why you put Saka 5th.
It's just because the other 4 are better. Sometimes it's just how it plays out. It's not because he's bad. It's just the other 4 are better. The other 4 are better.
That's
all
a
it
that's
is.
a big call.
That's what it is.
That's
Do
a
you,
big call.
I
Where
do you
have
know
you put-
what
where
though?
have you put the
Abby,
Arsenal forward
Abby, do you know
versus
what?
Tottenham?
Abby, do you know what? I know this
No,
man
because I'm
really
not
well,
biased.
and I know now. I can look in his eyes and I can see
He's panicking.
he's realised that he's had a stinker here, and he's panicked. I can look at him and I can see that he's going, "Ay, what do I do here? Do I double down or do I acknowledge that I've made a massive pig's ear of this?"
Doubling down.
Saka 5th is mad, isn't it? You have actually clocked that.
No, it's not. It's just
Look at his
no,
face.
it's not. The other 4 are just better, aren't they?
No.
The other 4 are better.
No.
There aren't four better players in this conversation than Bukayo Saka.
Hey,
No,
there
I was
you
about
go,
to say
there
Mohamed
you
Salah
go.
is
See,
Mohamed
see?
Salah this year.
See, by default,
Mohamed Salah is
came down,
definitely
yeah,
5th.
by default.
Like Mohamed Salah being 5th is definitely accurate.
Yeah.
How many goals? Can anyone find out how many goals, by the way, that Saka's got this season? 9 in the league. And Salah? 8. See? 1 second.
Oh.
No, 1 second. You guys are acting like I'm talking nonsense. Like all of a sudden, it's that far off.
But Bukayo
One is
Saka's
playing
not-
for the best team in the league. One's playing for a team that's floating around number 9, and there's only 1 goal difference.
But
one
part
goal
of the
difference.
reason, mate, when
So
you said
that
he's
means-
playing for the
that
best
means-
team in the
that
league, he's
means-
playing for the
that
best team in the
means
league
Salah's got
because
more
of his
goals in all competitions than
You
him.
just said he's playing for the best team in the league because of his performances.
It's
You
not
just-
him, it's Odegaard.
No, you've just
Not
said
him, it's
he's playing-
Odegaard.
It's his performances. At the beginning of the season, you were livid when I said that Liverpool would finish 3rd. You were livid. So you thought that they were the best team. And if his performances had been what they should be, maybe they would be.
I asked you yesterday, I said, who is the best player in the Premier League this season? You know what you told me?
What?
He said Thomas Partey's right up there. So it's not Saka's performances. It's
Thomas
Thomas
Partey is
Partey
right up
and
there.
it's Odegaard's performances. Mo Salah's actually done it himself. He said, I've got to do this myself.
Well, I'd say the
Got to do
difference.
this myself.
I'd say the difference with Arsenal is that it's kind of spread
Mane's
out.
gone. Firmino's injured. Nunes ain't doing it. Cody Gakpo's rubbish. I've got to do it myself. And he's still got 8 goals and 17 in all competitions.
No. Okay, Kane, Rashford, Saka, Haaland, Salah. That's it.
Absolutely. So mine was right from the start, really.
Did you get it spot on? Have you not made a change?
One change.
Oh la la.
No,
Mate,
1
that's
second.
big.
What do you mean she got it spot on? I've not agreed with this. This
But
is your.
It's
This is
not-
what
it's
you guys have
non-negotiable.
agreed. Well,
Democracy,
you know,
though, isn't
It's
it?
non-negotiable.
for once, I've never
Because
done
he's
this on
right.
this show. I've
Because
never
he's
done
right.
this on this show. Not writing. I can't agree with anything you guys are saying. Never done it.
You don't even have ground to
Bukayo
disagree on
Saka
this.
3rd.
But you guys have got Haaland 3rd. He's got.
I've got Haaland
27
5th.
goals.
I've got Haaland 4th.
Haaland 4th.
Oh, he's doing what you guys do.
Because he hit the. As Rory
But he
said, the
hasn't
way
had a
he's
better
affected
season than-
27
City.
goals this
He hasn't had a better season than those 3,
No
though.
way.
He hasn't.
I find this mad.
It's difficult with
Well, look
Haaland
at
because
performance.
his numbers are outrageous. But I don't think that he's been conducive to a better City team.
I think we've got so Rashford crazy post World Cup that I think we're forgetting August to when did the World Cup start? December.
November.
It was November. I think we're forgetting that period. Whereas Haaland literally went from, what did he get? He got 18 goals just in that period. And everyone was like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
but
this is
I
unstoppable.
also think
all of a
it's-
sudden, Rashford's come back from the World Cup, scored a couple of goals, done the finger point to the head, and everyone's gone crazy.
I think it's easier to get goals in that Manchester City team, and and what we're seeing is obviously he has changed the way that City play, and it is a little bit harder for them
That's
to
Pep's
be
fault.
consistent, win
Rashford.
games.
Marcus
He
Rashford.
came
You will
to
still
score
get
goals.
goals. You will still get goals
he said
in that
Pep will
team.
score goals, and he's done his job.
Manchester United should not win the league this year. At the beginning of the season, lots of people wouldn't have even said they make the European Cup.
Yeah.
And they might win it, and they'll definitely win silverware, and they haven't been eliminated from any competition yet, largely because of this man. Everybody said that this team should win the league. Everybody said
win the
that it was
Champions
done,
League.
it was over
Yeah.
the second they signed Haaland. And do you know what? Manchester United and Arsenal could both pip them. That shouldn't be happening.
And that's mistakes. You know, that's mistakes from Pep and getting rid of Zinchenko.
I agree.
Or maybe it's mistakes from Pep.
Jesus, Sterling. Is that mistake?
No, but signing Haaland, changing the way that they play, and his inclusion having a detrimental impact on the brilliance of Kevin De Bruyne, a detrimental impact on the brilliance of Bernardo Silva. The whole team isn't as good with him in it, despite the fact that he scores bundles of goals.
They might be next season, but this season, you cannot honestly say that they've been...
Mate, goals by the truckload.
I can't wait to revisit this.
Mate, the answer's Harry Kane.
In a few months' time, and
right?
they've won the league and the Champions League.
No one wants them to win the league more than I do. Manchester City. But at the moment...
Not from me.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, both of us same time. But I think it's more important for me, though, as a Tottenham fan. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you cannot argue that. You need... Come on, write it down.
Therefore... that concludes the definitive list of this season's MVP so far. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Playlist. It's been thoroughly enjoyable. The second that this video goes live, we're all going to be in the comments. Let us know your 5 selections and do you agree with our list. Please click subscribe and we'll see you all on the next episode in a bit.
We're back. That was a good one.
It was. Didn't have to change my board once.
Salah at 5 is actually hilarious.
Well,
it's hilarious. And he's going to prove all of you wrong. Come the end of the season.
What, when you finish 7th?
No, when we get 4th in a Champions League medal.
Okay.
Because that's what he does. He's obviously used to winning the Champions League and he knows how to get 4th, unlike your team. Anyway, when we come back on the next one, it's the top 5 playmakers in the Premier League.
Exciting.
There will be no Liverpool player in this one.
There'll be no one from Tottenham either.
No one at all. All right, don't forget, make sure you subscribe, click the link in the description and leave your comments as always. As Mr. Jennings said, we will be in the comments section making sure that all of you make sure you put Salah higher than 5th.